Hello everybody, happy Monday. It's a beautiful day here again. The thunderstorms didn't really happen that we were promised. Yeah, didn't really happen at all. We had a little bit of rain Saturday night, but it's been a bit of a humid old weekend without any rain, so it could probably do with, I know we moan about the weather, we're British after all, aren't we? But yeah, could probably do with a little bit of rain now. So hopefully you all had a really good weekend. I had a busy weekend. Lots and lots of sewing on Saturday, getting ready for Chanda shows and Rico shows and festival quilts and all sorts. And then yesterday I had to do an IKEA run and a B&Q run and all sorts. So yeah, it's all a bit crazy. You should see the state of the shop. At the back of the shop at the minute, it's just full of stuff. Sarah's started to pack things ready for festival because we'll go up first thing Wednesday morning. So we'll pack like everything tomorrow and then go up first thing Wednesday morning to set up. And then we've got Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday at Festival of Quilts at the NEC. So so if you are coming along, please do come and say hello. Come and say hello to us. Let's put a face to a name and stuff. That'd be lovely. Alex is filming for me today because Drew is house sitting for somebody for 2 weeks, so he's not about. And I don't think Josh is back yet, is he? I haven't seen him. Don't know where he is. So Josh is out and about somewhere. So Alex is filming for me today. Who's coming online now?
We got hellos from Lorraine, Claire,
hi Lorraine.
Wendy.
Hi Claire, hi Wendy.
Maria, Carolyn.
Hi Maria, hi Carolyn. Hello everybody. Thanks for joining us. Haven't really got any news to tell you, apart from the fact we got Festival Quilts this week. And haven't got a daily deal because frankly we're trying to sort everything out ready for festival. So we've just got our little demo today. Nothing else really to tell you. I watched a bit of the Olympics. Did anybody watch the Olympics ceremony? I did watch a little bit of it yesterday. Randomly, while I was hand sewing, because I had some gaps to, like ladder stitch up. So I was sat there and my husband was watching the skateboarding, which I didn't realise was an Olympic sport. Apparently it's new this year. So it was quite interesting though. I'm not a massive sport person, but I kind of like the Olympics. We always end up watching random bits of it, random sports that you would never normally watch. So yeah, so it's strange without any spectators in the stadium or anything though. So, but never mind. So what we're going to do today is we're going to make some of these little, what I call a taggy, little like sort of baby. Like Tom, my youngest, he'd hate me for telling you this because he's 14 and obviously moody teenager. But he used to have like a muzzy, like the muslin cloth things, and he used to play with the label and everything. He used to love the label and he used to rub it and stuff. So, and you can buy taggies ready done, but I thought we'd have a little go at making some of our own. I've done one with a little bit of stuff in to give it a different feel, and I've done one with a little bit of like, I don't know if you can hear that, a little bit of like crinkle in it, which is just like a little piece of plastic, which gives that like nice crinkle sound and everything. Again, I've done one with ribbons, but I thought I'd show you how to use up some tiny little scraps of fabric, and we can do them with little fabric scraps as well. So, tiny amounts of fabric. I've also used a little piece of fleece on the back. So I buy these cheapy fleece blankets, like throws from IKEA. They're about £4. And they are brilliant for putting on the back of quilts. If you're obviously not an heirloom quilt that you want to last years and years, but if you're making like a lap quilt that you want people to just scooch up under the sofa on, these throws are brilliant for that. They quilt lovely, and I mean I've done quite a few. I mean Josh has got one on his bed that he's had about 6 years, which has got a fleece on the back. You don't have to put wadding in them either if you don't want to. You can do if you want extra warmth, but if you want it to be nice and just cutchy, you can use the fleece. But I always end up having to cut them to size, so I've always got bits left over. So I thought we'd put this on the back of the taggy, but you could use a bit of minky or anything like that. There's just got a bit of a different texture. Again, it's the idea of tactile, something for the baby to play with. So I've got a little piece of fleece and I've got raided my scrap box and just pulled out some scraps, little scraps of ribbon, and I'm going to do one with this tortoise, this pink tortoise fabric this time. So anybody there, just while I sort myself out, having a chat, saying hello while we're at it.
Yeah. Lynn says, didn't watch the ceremony, but I did watch Tom Daly and Matt win gold for synchro diving.
Ah, cool. Oh, I didn't watch that. Oh, that's really cool though. Amazing. The triathlon's on at the moment. I've just put it on as background nonsense. So yeah, I shall catch up with a little bit a bit later. So I like Tom Daly's a massive crochet knitter, isn't he? He does all over his Instagram. I follow him on Instagram, and he does loads of like crocheting and knitting and stuff, which is really cool. Bringing the crafts to the boys. So I'm going to use, you could use a plate, a mug, you know, a bowl, anything. I'm going to use one of my circle templates from Crafty UK. I'm using the 5-inch one. They don't have to be circular. You could make these square. You could, I know, cut out different shapes and everything. You know, you could make, I know, can you make them into, you know, put a smiley face or something on them. You could make them like sunshines. I don't know what else. You could make it like a tortoise. Oh, thinking of tortoises, you could make it like a tortoise, couldn't you? You could make, you know, make the taggy bits like the shape of a tortoise and stuff. You could really play around with these. We're just going to do a really simple little circular ones today, but play around with these shapes. Once you've kind of got the idea of it, they're very, very easy to do. Like I said, I'm going to use one of my circular templates, but any sort of bowl or anything that's the right size. And I just want to, I'm going to try and line that up a little bit so that I've got as many tortoises in the centre as I can. I'm just going to draw around, but oh, that pen's run out. Let's grab another one. But yeah, you know, use what you've got. If you've got like a cereal bowl or, you know, a big mug or something, you could use that if you haven't got these circular templates. Although I have to say I use mine a lot. I really do. So they are very handy. So there we go. So just drawn round that, just give myself a circle, and we're going to cut that out. So I'm going to just do this with scissors. I could have used the rotary cutter against the template, but I'm just doing this quite roughly, like that. So anybody else there having a chat while I cut this out? Anybody there?
Joe says you could put a rattle in.
Could. Oh, those little squeakers. There's a company that does all baby safe stuff. I know Sarah's bought stuff from them from shows. Oh, what's that called? And they do like safe squeakers and like little rattle things, and they also do stuff like, you know, like teething rings, you know, and stuff that you could like attach through one of those, so they've got a teething ringy bit and things. They're for like when you do quiet books and things. Oh, when I get back over to the shop, I'll see if Sarah can remember the name of the company, because I know she's bought a few bits from them. And I'll see if I can remember who it is that does it. Unless somebody else has bought from them, they might remember. But yeah, you could, yeah, definitely you could put a rattle or something in it. I mean, this was the idea of using a total scrap, so it's literally a piece of plastic bag in there, which I'll show you in a second. I also want to do exactly the same out of my fleece, because I want the same size for my fleece. So go like this, and I am going to use my rotary cutter on this. We need to stand up for this one though, and just cut out very carefully. Make sure you get your fingers out the way. You're holding that template in place. If you've got a turntable mat, it's probably a good time to use it. I go through nearly. There we go, and then just reline it up this side, because I didn't get my turntable mat out, so turn it so that I'm not cutting towards myself, and cut around that size. You're going to trim it down anyway, so don't worry if it's a little bit rough. Okay, there we go. I think I need a new blade. I need to get a blade in there before festival. There we go. Okay, so I've got two circles like that. This is going to be quick, guys, okay? So I then raided my ribbon box and pulled out little bits of ribbon and rickrack and all. I mean, look, little tiny little pieces like that. But that works perfectly for this, because you don't need really, really big pieces. So what size is that? That's about that's 3 inches. Okay, so you want them to be about 3 inches long. Literally going to fold those in half like that. And we're going to add them so that the raw edges are on the raw edge of the quilt. On the raw edge of the fabric, like that. Okay, so I've just folded it in half, so I've got a little loop. My raw edges are over here, and just pin that into place. Okay, so I'm going to do a few with ribbon. I'm going to use a little bit of this little scrap of leopard ribbon, about 3 inches. You know, it doesn't have to be overly measured. Just snip some little pieces off. Okay, so I'll put one opposite like that. Just give myself a tiny bit of an overlap and then pin that into place. And then I'm going to have a piece of this bright orange again, like that. You know, use different size and textures of ribbon. You know, so that's a bit of grosgrain. You've got a little bit of rickrack in there. Add this one in like this. You can add as little or as, you know, much as you want, like that. Let's put another one this side. So let's go. Should we go? Actually, let's do that bright blue grosgrain ribbon. So grosgrain ribbon is just that one that's got like the ribbed effect on it. And another pin. Put that one like that. Okay. And then I thought what I'd do is show you how to make like these funny little gumdroppy petal shaped bits. You can be really, really free with this. You could do some, you know, diagonal ones, you know, like triangles, or as well as petals, entirely up to you. So again, I went through my box and pulled out lots and lots of little tiny scraps. So I'm going to give that a quick press like that. I'm going to fold that one in half that way, okay, and then I'm going to fold it in half the other way as well, just so you've got it kind of symmetrical. And I'm going to freehand this because I don't think you need to be overly worried about the size and the shape. I'm just going to cut like half, a bit of a curve at the top like that. Okay, down like that. So I've got a little bit of something that looks that sort of shape. Okay, and what's that, about 2 inches wide in total. Okay, but you could do them bigger or smaller. All right, and then I'm just going to pin those together a second. I'm not going to pin it on because we need to sew those first. And I'm going to make sort of 3 or 4 of those. So I've got this little bit of rainbowy stuff like that. So I've got, again, just cut off enough, about that much. Okay, so I might make this one, rather than a petal shape, I might make this one, so I'm going to fold it wrong sides together like that. Fold it in half. I might make this a pointy one actually, rather than a round one. So anybody there having a chat, so if just for a pointy one, I'm literally going to cut from the point up there down at a bit of an angle like that. So I've got a bit of a pointy one. Okay, in fact that's probably a little bit too wide. So I mean, these are really, really free. You know, you don't have to worry too much. I'm going to cut that down. So I've got a pointy one. Anybody there? Anybody having a chat? I'm going to make 4 of these. No?
Eileen says, been watching a bit of the Olympics. My daughter watches Tom Daly on Instagram too.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's fab that he's sort of like bringing a bit of crochet to the masses. There we go. Anybody else there?
Pauline says they could be used as fiddle rounds.
Yes, they could, like fiddle mats and stuff. Absolutely, you could sew some buttons and things on here as well, you know, or actually sew some lace, you know, like a bigger piece of ribbon. Thinking about it, actually, if you sewed a bigger piece of ribbon like that, and then, you know, tied a bow and stuff, so that people could undo the bow and stuff and things like that. Put some buttons on them, you know, so they can fiddle with the buttons. Yeah, absolutely. You could make them slightly bigger, so you can make them like a fiddle mat. Yeah, really good idea. Okay, so again, I'm just going to round this one off. Give myself, this one's going to be a bit of a petal shape. Like that. You know, this is sort of a little basis for an ideas that you can guys then for you guys to come up with. You know, once you've got the basis of it, you know, play around with it. So I want one more, and we'll do a pointy one. Let's do it in that bright. Well, I've done a red one already. Let's do it in this one then. We'll do it. You can see it's all little tiny scraps of fabric, and they take no time at all to make either. So I'll cut a piece off like that. I'm not really worried too much about what I'm doing. Actually, we can make it that way. Get it a little bit longer that way, and then fold in half. We'll have a bit of a diagonal one on that one as well. So come down like that. And down like that. Not diagonal, triangular. I can't say the word triangular today. There we go. So I'm going to take these little ones over to the sewing machine, and then we're just going to stitch round like those edges, leave the bottom of all of these. So I'm just going to stitch around the curve. I'm going to leave this open, stitch round, leave this open, stitch round. So we're going to nip over to the machine, and I wouldn't do a 1/4 inch. I would do, you know, not a really scant quarter, you know, like not an 1/8, but you know, a smallish seam allowance, about 1/8 of an inch, I suppose, is about right, actually, thinking about it, because you don't want a lot of bulk in them. You just want to just stitch around those edges. Oh, the other thing I should have said as well, I would take my stitch length right down. You want these to be, you know, like really well stitched, so I'd go down to about 1.8 on these, just so I've got a nice, really tight seam on them. Up to the point. One more. There we go, down that side. We're just going to stitch around these 4 just to make some little extra little taggy things down that one. So anybody else there? Anybody else having a chat? Anybody telling me anything? What have you been up to this weekend?
No, that's come through yet.
No, nothing's coming through. Have you been doing any sewing? What have you been up to? Or have you all been out in the garden enjoying the hot sunshine? There we go, down that side. And down that side. There we go. Like I said, you can be really, you know, loose with these. They don't have to be particularly neat. There we go. And then we're going to go around that curve. I'm just going to gently just slow down a weeny bit when I get to the top of the curve. Take a couple of little stitches just to get round it. Like that. Yeah, you could make them, yeah, like make them like twiddle muffs or twiddle mats, couldn't you? Or like a play mat or something for play mat or something. Has anyone else been plagued by flies the last few days? I don't know whether it's the hot weather, but oh, we've been terrible here. Just haven't been able to escape them. Why do flies fly in a window and then spend an hour deciding that they haven't worked out where the window is, and they just fly backwards and forwards, and you think the door's open, the window's open, what's the matter with you? There we go. Nearly there, all the way around. And down that side. Go away, stupid thing. Right, where's my little scissors? Now you could use your rotary cutter, not rotary cutter, your pinking shears, but you just want to clip into these a little bit. So we're going to come back over here, take those pins out, and then obviously because it's a curve, just clip in, just to get rid of that bulk a little bit. Okay, so I'm just going to clip up to the stitches, but obviously don't go through the stitches, just to help you give you a neater curve. Let's do the same on that one. There we go. Yeah, you could applique some bits and pieces on there, couldn't you? You could applique some letters and things, your baby's name or just initials. You know, make them a bit bigger. Now with these ones, you're just going to clip off that excess at the like points, just so you haven't got too much bulk in that seam. There we go. And the same with this one. Take that pin out like that. There we go. Okay, and then I'm going to get rid of those little bits. Get rid of that in a minute. And then we're going to turn these through and give them a good press. So somewhere on here I found my turner. Where is it? There it is. So anybody else there having a chat? Anybody telling me what they're doing?
Claire said this weekend I must have been involved in the 3 Choirs Festival.
Oh wow. Oh, that sounds interesting. Oh, it'd be one of my genie wishes to be able to sing properly. Okay, so I'm just pushing through those points and giving that a really good press. Like that. And then we're going to do this curved one. Yeah, I'd love to be able to sing properly. I can't sing for toffee. I do like to sing very loudly at the top of my voice in the car, but that's where nobody can hear me. Push that through, push out all those points. Run the little point turner along that seam. Careful you don't push too far and push all the way through, but you just want to get that nice and neat, like that. Have some pointy ones. Again, give it a quick little press. And then we're going to do these curves. Anybody else there? Who's coming to festival? Who's actually bought a ticket? Any of you going to come and see us?
Cheryl said I was all ready to make myself some dungarees, and when it came to cutting the fabric, I realised I didn't have enough.
Oh no!
I had the correct amount in meters, but not width.
Ah, there's a shame. Oh, I wish I was better at dressmaking. It's not something... I mean, I have made myself stuff. But I always look at patterns, and I mean, Sarah's a bugger for patterns. She's got a box full of dress patterns. She's forever buying patterns. Doesn't ever make her dresses, mind, but I think she's just collecting them. But yeah, you see all these beautiful fabrics, you think, oh, I want to make that. Oh, I want to make that. I want to make something out of that. I never get round to doing it. Okay, so again, there we go. So we've made like these funny little gumdroppy petal type shapes. Okay, and then we're going to add those to this along with the ribbon. So we're going to pop this one over here. Again, just overlap a weeny bit with your raw edges. Okay, and add this one over here, like that. And I'm going to add that one in there like that. You could, I suppose, put like a hanging loop on them, so you could like tie them round a buggy strap or something. In fact, actually, let me just move that one over a weeny bit. Okay, in fact, and that rickrack's not working for me on that one. I'm going to change that out, I think, and I'm going to have a piece of this green instead. I did put rickrack on the other ones, actually, on that one, but that piece isn't working for me. It's not sitting quite right. So let's put that bit of green ribbon in it there, and then we're going to put that little one in there like that. Okay, we're now going to stitch all the way around just to baste these down so that we can take the pins off. Okay, so I'm going to stitch really close to the edge, and I'm also going to put my stitch length up to about number 4, just so it's like a basting stitch, and it's just going to hold all this in place. Okay, so stitch length up to number 4. Anybody else there having a chat while I'm doing this? And like I said, really close to the edge, like 1/16 of an inch. You're just doing a basting stitch just to hold it all down.
Pauline says, I'll be there to see you on Thursday.
Ah, lovely.
Pauline says, I'm coming on Thursday. We'll definitely come and see you.
Ah, yes, yeah, that'll be lovely. Oh, if some of you are coming on the same days, maybe you could meet for a coffee or something, you know, and unless you're like, if it's different if you're coming in groups of people and you've got people to talk to, but if anybody's coming by themselves, maybe you could meet for a coffee and say hello, because you all chat amongst yourselves. So, ooh, a bit far on that one. There we go. Wasn't concentrating. Anybody else there?
Anne says, haven't touched my sewing over the last couple of weeks, but been enjoying your 1pms.
Oh, lovely. I know, but you know, you've had some sad news, my darling, haven't you? So sometimes other things take priority, don't they? So there we go. Right, so I've just basted all those down out of the way, and then we're gonna. That was Anne Davis, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was just checking I got the right Anne then. There we go. And take those pins out so that we're not gonna hurt our fingers. And then, right, where's my little circle? There's my circle of fleece. Okay, so that one is going to go on top like that. Okay, now if you want to put a bit of crinkle in it, this is literally a piece of plastic off it was a magazine. I bought a magazine and it was the cover of the magazine. But anything, sort of single plastic like this, that is got that sort of crinkly type feel to it. So I'm going to cut it out just a bit bigger. Okay, so I'm going to cut down there like that, across there like that, because we're going to trim it all down. So what I want to do is just put that now on top of the fleece. Okay, so you've got that right sides together. If you haven't got any fleece and using minky, just make sure these are right sides together. You could just use another piece of cotton. Okay, you don't have to use a different texture. And then we're going to put that on like that. And I'm just going to put one pin through the centre like that. Okay, just to hold it down. We're now going to stitch all the way around, but we're going to leave a gap. Okay, you're going to leave a gap just enough to turn through. All right, and I'm going to stitch through this plastic. Right. Now, I'm going to stitch with the fabric down so that the feed dogs have got something to work on. I'm going to take my stitch back down to normal, like 2.5. I'm going to work slowly and steadily round because of the plastic, right? You want to do like about 1/4 of an inch at this point, okay? So it will sound a little bit funny because you're punching through that plastic, but just go slow and steady and it works, okay? There we go, all the way around. And like I said, I'm just taking it slow and steady and making sure that, oh, that's a little bit fast, that it doesn't slip. If you've got a Teflon foot, which I could have put on actually, you could put your Teflon foot on. Okay, let that fly go away. And that can help too, but you don't need one. If you just go slow and steady, it'll work, okay? There we go, and then coming back up to where I started, so I'm going to leave a gap. I'm just going to back stitch to make sure that it doesn't unravel when I cut it all out. Okay, take that pin out, and then we're going to chop it all down. So this is where I need my pinking shears, which have vanished. Where have they gone? Is that them there? Thanks, Al. Cheers. Okay. Again, doesn't have to be pinking shears. It could be you just trim this all off and snip into it, but pinking shears is quicker. Okay, so I'm just going to trim off all of that excess like that. Now I don't do the gap. Okay, I leave the gap slightly bigger because it gives it's easy to turn under. You know, when you get a neater, nicer sort of neat finish on it. Okay, so I'm just going to go round this and get rid of some of this excess like that. Okay, like I said, you could just do this with normal scissors and then clip into it if you wanted to, but Pinking Shears does it all in one. And then we're going to turn through the gap that we left just there. Now you need to make sure that you're turning, you're pretending that the plastic and the fleece is one. So make sure that you're turning through the right bit, because it's very easy to turn through there and then it's the wrong, you know, it's not, this is on the inside. So I'm going to turn through there. Okay, so you have to bear with me while I get this through because I've left quite a little gap. So give this a good press and a push. Come on, there we go. And through. And if you pull at the taggies like that, that'll pull out all those bits nicely. Okay, like that. And then you want to give that a press, and we want to make sure that this is turned under as well. Okay, so you want to make sure that that's turned under like that. Now, because you've got it all the way round, your gap will have something hanging off it. Okay, you could maybe just put all the taggies one side. You know, if this was, you know, you could maybe just leave this free at the top if you wanted to. But actually, when we do the top stitch in a minute, it works okay. So I'm just going to turn that under and give that a little press. Make sure that that's turned under first, like that. Come on, doesn't want to. A weeny bit fiddly, but just make sure that that's gone under nicely, like that. And then give this all a good press. Pull it. I tend to like pull the taggy bits a little bit as I'm pressing, and it makes it go nice and flat. There we go, like that. And then I can turn that fleece under at the back, and fleece doesn't really iron very well, so you've just got to kind of tuck it under like that and give it a good press. Okay, you could now stuff this if you wanted to. You could put a little bit of stuffing in as well, which I will just put a weeny bit into this one. So this one's got crinkle and stuffing in it. So let me just get my fingers in there now. Come on. I'll just open that back up so I can put just a weeny bit of stuffing in there. You don't need a lot. You just want to pad them out a weeny bit just to make them feel nice. Okay. Like that. Anybody questioning that? Any questions or comments there, love, while I just pad this out a weeny bit?
Jean says, won't the plastic melt when you iron it?
No, I mean, you can still hear it in here. It gets a little, you know, goes a little bit warm at first, but no, it doesn't it's fine. It depends on what type of plastic you use, I suppose. I mean, don't use cling film. But no, it's fine. It just, it's still, I don't know if you can hear that in there. It's got the padding in this one as well. So it doesn't crinkle as much if you've got the padding in it, but you've still got that, can you hear that sort of sound? Okay, just going to put a tiny bit of padding in it. If you want them crinkly, you don't really need to pad them, you know, but I'm just doing both to show you today. Okay, I'm going to pop a pin into that little gap bit just to hold all those edges in, and then we're going to top stitch all the way around the edge. Okay, so we're going to top stitch again about 1/16 of an inch all the way around the edge. Okay, so I don't know if you can hear it, you can still hear it crinkling. Okay, so I'm just going to pop the needle in like that and go for it. Okay, so talk to me while I'm doing this, ladies and gents. Anybody else there having a chat? No?
Junie, is that how I say that? Says cereal packets work as well.
Oh, yeah, like the like film bit on the
Inlining,
inside. Yeah. Oh yeah, that's a good idea. Hadn't thought of that. Yeah. Yeah, I went around the house yesterday like scrinkling bits of plastic thinking, oh, what crinkles? But oh yeah, cereal packets, that's a good shout. Nearly all the way around, so I'm just doing a really small top stitch. That'll close the gap up as well, and this just reinforces through the ribbon as well, because you left that overlap. You'll go and catching that ribbon in a second time, so you've got like two or three really with the tack in as well. 3 lots of stitching in it to... Oh, Al, could you grab the door for me please, hon? Somebody at the door. So nearly there, just going to get to the pin bit. And we're going to go around like that, just close up that gap. You could hand stitch it closed if you really wanted to as well, if you're worried at all, but the top stitching will work. There we go. And then finish it off, little lock stitch. Thanks, Al. And then we're done. So I'm just going to trim off those little bits there, like that. And like that. Oh, there's another one over there. Let's have that thread as well. And there you go. Just kind of give it a squish to get that padding. You can see it doesn't crinkle. You've still got a bit of crinkle with the padding, but they crinkle better when you haven't got padding in them. Okay, so if you want them to have a real crinkle, don't put padding, but you have got a bit of one, but the wadding kind of muffles it. But there you go. So you've got little taggies. Really nice, easy little things, you know, that babies can play with. You can keep like them in your glove box and stuff and all, can't you? Just to give them something to scrunch up and play with the bits of ribbon and all. But have a play around with them. Do different shapes and stuff. You know, think about what shapes you could do, how you could embellish these. You know, we were saying you make them bigger. I like the idea of like a mat. You know, making them maybe this sort of size with different bits. You know, lots of tags and all around the outside. Lots of these little bits of gumdrop stuff. You know, you could buy squeakers and rattles and things to put inside. You know, make these in maybe different fabrics. You know, if you've got little bits of like velvet or minky or something, make some of the gumdrops in different textures. Put some buttons on, things like that. So that, you know, maybe jingle bells, you've got to be careful because you don't want things that babies can swallow, do you? But, you know, those are pretty safe actually. I mean, you'd have to really rip the hell out of those to get those out of there, you know. So yeah, little taggies, nice quick little project using up little scraps of fabric again. So any questions, comments there before we go, Al?
Marion said, what are they? Missed the beginning, but
oh, they're called taggies. Yeah, you know, those things you play with, you know, give to babies because they like to play with all the little funny bits on the end. So yeah, just a little bit of summer nonsense for you to make.
Maria says, guess who's getting them?
Oh, I wonder. I want to see if my little man wants one. See if he likes them, whether he'll want them. He had an octopus the other day, so I wonder whether he might like these. He might like them. He does like anything at the moment. Everything's all about his hands. He was in the hot tub. We put him in the hot tub the other day, and he was swimming with Rory, his dad, my son, and And then we took him out so that and then put the bubbles on, and you should just seen him with his little face with the bubbles. We had kind of like held him by the water, like carefully, obviously, and he had his hands with the bubbles just running over his hands. He loved it. He thought it was brilliant. It's very tactile at the minute. Everything's in his mouth, everything in his hands. But that's the age they get to, isn't it? That very tactile. They want everything in their mouths. So, anything else there?
There's a thank you both from Kate.
That's all right, no problem. So Sarah's back tomorrow. She's going to show you how to make some pattern weights, and then Wednesday we'll be doing setup. So it might not be dead on 1 o'clock. It might be a little bit late, but we'll do a live from the NEC during setup, so you can see some of the quilts, you can see what we're doing, you can see where we are, and just have a little nosy round and everything. But we'll do a live then, and then we'll do another live on Thursday when the show's actually open, and I'll do a bit of a tour around the whole of festival for you. So I'll take you round the whole show, show you some bits and pieces and stuff, and who's there, and some of the quilts and stuff that are on display. Just so if you haven't been able to make it this year, you can at least still see what's going on and see some of the suppliers, and then you can always order online and stuff for them. There will be a reduced online service for us while we're away. So because obviously we've got to take a lot of stock with us, we have to take that off the website, because otherwise we could sell it up there and then one of you guys could buy it on the website and we'd be stuck then. So so there'll be a reduced website service from us over the weekend, but there will still be like all the normal bits and pieces on there if you need anything. And yeah, I think that's everything for me. I won't see you tomorrow. I'll see you Wednesday from the NEC, and Sarah's back tomorrow at 1. So any questions there before we go? Lovely.
Just thank yous and
Cool. Lovely. All right, I'll see you soon, guys. Yeah, see you Wednesday at the NEC. Bye.